On today's episode, recently Prime released a documentary about a great actor who, even though he's been gone 31 years now, is still near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, as soon as we saw that documentary, both of us, and then dude sent us a message. We're going, yeah, I know, we were watching it.
We had to do an episode about this person. Yeah. Find out who right after this.
See you soon.
When the day is done and I need a good laugh, I tune into Lazyboys night on their chosen path. Two mates on the lounge with stories untold, chatting about movies worth more than gold. Food escapades and opinions so true. Just two good fellas seeing life through. Their banter and wisdom, a comforting sound. No pretense, no drama, just solid common ground. These are the channels, the ones I adore, guiding my screen, always wanting more. From shredding guitars to laughter and chat, my favorite YouTube, that's where it's at.
That's dude.
That's dude.
And welcome to Lazyboys night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to trying this beer because this beer is from one of the few breweries who've yet to ever let us down. And I'm sure it's going to be great. This is the Tahi New Zealand IPA from OBC. That is the Orleans Brewing Company. And you can tell because even though it's not the bison, it's wearing the standard plaid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little Kiwi bird, hence the New Zealand IPA.
Huh.
I look forward to trying this.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because Jan, who is the master brewer there, always comes up with great recipes. Cheers.
Cheers. That's freaking good, man.
Once again.
Wow.
OBC.
Wow.
You keep doing great work. This is delicious. Oh, yeah.
That's really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Ha!
You know who would like this beer? John Candy. That's who we're talking about tonight. That's right.
The great Canadian comedic actor, John Candy.
Yeah.
Holy jeez. When I saw that there was a documentary,
which is called I Like Me.
I Like Me.
Which is a line from one of his films.
From Planes, Trains, and Automobiles,
and, this is a documentary on the life of John Candy and his impact on Hollywood, but more importantly on the community. The actors all have great things to say about him. Oh, yeah.
As soon as I saw that, I realized how much we've talked about John Candy without talking about specifically John Candy.
Oh, well, so many of his films you've mentioned, yeah.
There's so many, depending on our episodes, a lot of his movies come back into either our top 6 or top 12, or just so, it comes out as a reference.
Or how he's influenced other people who've been in our tops.
And even when we have conversations, we're talking about, classic comedy movies or classic movies or just, feel-good movies.
Yeah.
It's just, it always comes up.
And to see how he was he knew everybody, he was in everything. I mean, this is a documentary where it opens with Bill Murray. And you've got Tom Hanks, and you've got Dan Aykroyd, and you've got most of the SCTV cast. Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy and Martin Short and Steve Martin and all these big names.
Dave Thomas, too.
And the whole thing is actually directed by Colin Hanks, who's Tom Hanks' son. So I'm sure John.
So there's a lot of love there.
I'm sure it was Uncle John to him.
Holy jeez!
So it's really something special. What was there something that stood out for you about the documentary? Something you didn't know about John that made you go, "Wow"?
Yeah, one thing that really impressed me is one thing that started coming up a lot from his family, from his friends, and even in interviews, asking about his weight.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal for other people, but it was never a big deal for him.
And that's
the one thing that blew me away, man.
You have to understand society's norms. Even today, there's the stereotypes about the jolly fat man. We're a little more tolerant today, but back in the 80s, being fat was something
it was almost like a disease, man.
But it was something you could make fun of too.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't considered politically incorrect to make fun of. And John Candy was a big guy.
Yeah.
And he was just, and people wanted to keep him fat because he was funnier that way.
Well,
and they poke fun of his weight a lot.
So I wouldn't go as far as to say that they would poke fun at his weight more than they were worried about him. Because the one thing about John Candy...
What I mean is, in the comedy, they poke fun of his weight.
Yeah, but even in the comedies, like there's the one scene, and this part I already knew about, is when they're filming in Stripes, and there's the mud wrestling part.
Yes.
And he gets involved with the girls. In the actual filming, they wanted him to take his shirt off.
He didn't want to.
And he didn't want to do the scene at all. Because
No.
to him, it was like, okay, you're using me because I'm big and you want to have like a fat pig being wrestled by these girls.
It's mud wrestling with girls in bikinis.
So for him, it was like, I'm doing it, but I'm not taking my shirt off because I'm not going to be made fun of because of...
Yeah.
I have the talent. I have the chops for it. I can be funny without making fun of me physically. So for... You were asking about the one thing that hit me?
Yeah.
That's what hit me. Is like it... He's talking about he doesn't. There was an interview. I think there's a clip actually in the documentary when he's having somebody's asking him about his weight, and he's going, "Well, do you have a problem with my weight?" And then the interview goes, "Well, I don't." Says, "Well, I don't either." So I'm just wondering if you had a problem with
like
it. Maybe.
Why was it brought up? But you can tell at the same time his face. You can see when he's genuinely having a good time and when he's putting up a brave face and he's smiling for the camera, but the eyes don't lie, and you can see the hurt in his eyes when the weight's
you're
brought
judging
up.
me on my weight, but
Yeah.
it's like, holy, you want to look at the work I've been doing? Like,
Yeah.
Judge me on my work, not on my weight.
Yeah, that was
And it's like
hard.
always going back to that, but how he held his own. Like John Candy loved to drink.
He smoked.
He loved to smoke, and he enjoyed those things. And I'm going, holy jeez, that's awesome. The fact that you own that. Like I know
they had a nickname for him, which was Johnny Toronto, which was like living large.
He gave himself a nickname, which is awesome.
But it caught on. But it was like Johnny Toronto was the guy who lived large. He drank, he smoked, he partied. Women loved him. Everybody loved him.
Enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
And to me, that's one of those things where we don't do that anymore. And even back then, he was kind of judged for it, but it was a big deal. Like for me, I obviously enjoy a good drink.
Really?
I don't smoke cigarettes, but I smoke cigars. We've had an episode on that.
Yeah.
Check this out, right? Cigars for beginners, there's a reason for it. But I own that. I actually do enjoy it. And I'm like, if I'm going to die from that, who cares? You know why?
Because I live my life the way I want to.
Yeah, and usually, you know what? It's like, it's going to take 10 years off your life. Usually that's the part of your life. It's
As Dennis here would say, it's the diaper wearing years.
It's the horrible years.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to skip that anyways. Like, who wants to go through that and just own it? It's like the worst. Why would you want to live through the worst time in your life if you're going to enjoy the rest of it? No. And for that, John Candy, man, we were talking about this, and I said, one of the things about that man is that I love his performances. I love him. And I said, I love this man. It's like, I don't like him. I don't think he's a great... I love this human being. I wish...
He had a big heart.
...that I could have met this guy for real.
He was... And this is what stuck to me from the documentary and why... he was basically everybody's dad. He looked out for everybody. He took care of everybody. And the reason, and this is what I discovered from the documentary.
Don't say it though. No, you got to check out the documentary. Don't spoil that part. That's super important, dude.
Okay,
it's huge.
Okay, it is huge. I don't want to give a spoiler. I'm just going to say
that's huge.
We are shaped by our traumas.
Yes.
And John went through a particularly painful trauma at age 5, which is what shaped him to become the guy who took care of everybody.
So you want to watch it now, right? Yeah.
And he did. And there were stories, and not even in the documentary, there's just countless stories about how John, on sets, sometimes, it's happened several times, craft services are wrapped up for the evening, it's a cold winter, he'd pay to have catering brought in hot coffee and donuts and whatever just to make sure the crew was fed properly, he'd stop and he'd talk to everybody and make sure they were okay. Yeah. He wasn't like, I'm going to be in my trailer while you guys suffer. He'd be out there working alongside, going through what they were going through, sharing solidarity and trying to make their lives better while they were doing hard work.
And the fun
thing
is,
the kind of man he was.
That personality, the fact that was injected into his humor, like when he first started off, when he was at Second City and he was doing shows, and the other performers, because of that, what he just oozed that kind of nice one, the protector, but a sense of humor, man.
Oh yeah.
This guy, just facial expressions amazing, and just the delivery amazing. It's just unreal.
I'm flashing back to SCTV, the 3D effect.
Yeah.
Would you like some more pancakes?
They couldn't afford to do 3D, so what they do with the horror films, they ooh.
But SCTV, even in SCTV, I remember him so well in so many different roles.
Johnny LaRue.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, speaking of roles,
so what do we? Okay, we saw
the documentary. It had us
of roles,
chatting about our favorite John Candy films. Now his list is a mile long, and we can't list them all. And to be honest, they weren't all great because sometimes he did movies as favors, and they talk about that in the documentary too. Yeah. He couldn't say no to his friends, and he'd help out, and he'd do films that were sometimes craptacular. But nonetheless, he's got an impressive body of work.
Yeah, and it was very difficult to try to do a top 12, because essentially this is what the show is, folks. Now we're gonna do top 12
John Candy films.
Exactly.
Now we couldn't agree on which ones are better. Like some are great, but it was so hard to make the list. So Dude had the idea of writing them down chronologically. So this is in no particular order as far as preference. These are just starting from 1980 all the way to 1995, a year after his death. These are what we think are the 12 standout films.
And the great part about that is to have it, year by year. Yeah. It's going to help you as well, going, I remember that film. Yeah. Oh, he did that one
and
after.
You can see the evolution of his body of work.
So for us, the way to present it, there was, like I said, none of us could agree on which one, except for one, that where they should fit. But to have them
we'll mention that one. We'll talk a little longer about that when we get to it.
By presenting it that way to you, you'll go through, oh, I remember this, I remember that. And you'll realize how iconic those roles were. Yeah. Regardless if he was...
I was going to say, some are leads, some are supporting characters, some are just cameos. Yeah. But the thing is, even just the cameos, he stood out and you remembered him. And you're like, oh my God,
and people still talk about those cameos. Yeah. And that's how huge it was.
And to be honest, he started with cameos and bit parts in major films. And he was so memorable that all of a sudden he became a principal.
I want to talk
about
became the first one.
So go ahead, you talk about that first one.
1980, from Saturday Night Live, they came out with the Blues Brothers.
That starred Jim Belushi. John Belushi.
John. It was
John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd.
So
Dan Aykroyd was a great friend to John Candy.
Yeah. So for those who've been watching the show, you know that the Blues Brothers is one of my favorite comedies of all time.
Best car scene ever.
So having those two main actors, and then having John come in for that cameo where he's playing, I was going to say truant officer. That's just kind of, oh my God. When you come out of jail, you have to meet up with your parole officer. Sorry, yeah. So he's playing
truant officer. Guess who skipped school a lot when he was a kid?
I know what that is. So... But the fact, in this role, when you see him you know about this character, but you don't see him right away. As soon as he comes on screen, holy freak, does he own the screen? And just that laughable, this guy's a parole officer, man.
He's a big, lovable, dopey guy, but nonetheless,
And you can tell how he played this role. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, because the way he plays, like you said, he's like the big happy-go-lucky guy. He wants to be the nice guy. He's taking care of these guys that just came out of jail. But there's a side to him. And I kid you not, folks, if you ever watch the Blues Brothers, again, you're having yourself a movie night, you're watching it, watch his character, you're going, there's something else going on with him. Because you know, if he had to crack heads, if he had to get mean, it's like right away there's a point in the movie where he calls the two cops that are looking for him too, and he goes, get me these guys. Right away you're going, he means business, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's super relaxed about it. When he's at the concert at the end, so you want a drink? You want a drink? He orders drinks.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? 3 orange whips.
Gets one of the cops, the patrol officers, to go get drinks. And he's going, I got this out of control. And that's the whole thing. Is like, I think that's the part of that role where he's funny. There's a part of it that's intimidating because he's like, Dad, wait till Dad comes home.
Yeah.
That's how he's playing it. It's like, no, I could be a friend, but he's playing it so cool. You're going, oh man, there's something like he's gonna go off. It's like, no, everything's cool. Don't worry.
It was even though it was a small part, it was an interesting character.
Yeah,
it really, really was. It was a memorable character.
You know, it's like it's not the amount of time that he's on screen, but he plays it so well, man.
So let's move on then to 1981, where his friend Bill Murray and his friend why am I drawing a blank on the name?
Wasn't it Harold Ramis?
Harold Ramis. Thank you. Because Harold Ramis was also part of the Second City where he met John Candy.
Yep.
So his friends have a movie called Stripes. Stripes is about two guys, Harold Ramis and Bill Murray, who...
And they're friends because of the Second City, both of them, right?
Yeah. So Bill Murray and Harold Ramis join the army because they're deadbeats with nothing else going on. And so part of their... I don't know what you call it. It's not a platoon. Is it a platoon?
Yeah.
Anyway, part of the platoon is this big guy. His name is Ox, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Ox, played by John Candy, who again he's the big guy, and he's there in part to lose weight, get in shape, get the thing. But he's a very gung ho, just ready to do anything and be part of the team, and there's a lot of bit parts here and there. But he still stands out. And like you said, that mud wrestling scene is from Stripes. And he's one of the standout characters, even though he's not a star of the film.
No.
He's just there for extra side story comic relief. But every time he's on the scene, he dominates it. And you can tell when they're in the huddle, the platoon, they're in the barracks, and they're talking about themselves while they're there, and everybody's surrounding them. You don't care about anybody else's story. You listen to the John Candy story, and you're just like, you're eating your popcorn. Man. You're just pulled in. You're like, tell me more. And to me, Blues Brothers was a fun cameo. Stripes, to me, is the film that made him, all right, this guy is a proper comedic actor. Yeah. Let's see what else he can do.
Yeah, exactly. Because even I can easily imagine that in a situation where they had to rewrite the script for some reason, one of the main actors dropped out or whatever, he could have easily stepped in and be a lead already at that time.
Yes, absolutely.
He had that star power, man.
He had the star power at SCTV, which was a TV show, but he was dominating there, so to translate that to film wasn't that much of a leap for him. Yeah. And he showed that off brilliantly.
The fact that he was so comfortable in front of cameras like that was just amazing. And to go with that back into another cameo with Vacation, the original with Chevy Chase.
That's our third film, 1983.
So 1983, it's like right after, like, he goes into a situation where you have the entire movie that's happening, and then they finally get to Wally World.
Yeah.
There's no cars in the parking lot. It's like, no, we're going in.
Close.
Chevy Chase losing his freaking mind. They're going to it.
Now, fun note, the original scripted ending for Vacation did not include that scene at all. There was something happening with the gun and fires and police, and it did not test well. So they brought the cast back, and they rewrote the ending, and they created the part specifically, and they said, get John Candy in here. Boom.
Do you know how many times they've done that?
Yeah. And
when you watch the actual documentary, the amount of times that they didn't know what to do with the movie, get John in. He'll fix it.
So he plays the security guard who's like,
Huh, kids?
Sorry, folks, park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
and he's just this hapless security guard who's taken along for a ride because with the madman with the BB gun, and you see him on the roller coaster, and all this stuff. It was just a bit part, but again, it established him.
So to finish that kind of you have a movie where everything is going wrong, and you have hilarious moments. You have a superstar, the Chevy Chase. At the time, he was at the top of his game.
Oh yeah.
And then how do they wrap this funny movie up? You throw John Candy into the mix. You're going, this is like,
bravo,
good job, man.
It's the cherry on top, basically.
Awesome.
It is the cherry on top. Now, this next film, to me, is the one that made him not be a cameo guy anymore, but made him a strong supporter. He wasn't the lead in the film, but he was a strong supporting player. And what I liked about it, first, the film was Splash from 1984, starring Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah, The Beautiful Mermaid Story. If you've never seen this movie, you gotta see it.
That is a comedy classic. That would go in my top.
It was the summer it came out.
24
Splash was
proper
huge.
Oh,
it was like you
got
gotta see it.
Massive.
John Candy, what I liked about this one is he plays Tom Hanks' brother. But despite the fact that he's a big guy, in this film, he's not a doofus comic relief. He's a player.
Yeah.
He's a player.
Yeah.
He's successful with women. He's got the cars. He's got this. He's smart. He's still got heart.
Cool.
He's,
like,
and you're like,
Who's
he
this?
is a powerhouse of comedy. And funny, and they mentioned this in the documentary. Eugene Levy is also part of the film.
He's
Eugene
the
Levy
scientist.
of Schitt's Creek fame. But Eugene Levy was a co-star of John Candy in SCTV. Tom Hanks was actually intimidated doing scenes with those two because those two were strong improv actors with a long history on SCTV.
And Tom Hanks was a fan of SCTV, so he knew exactly what he was getting into.
And he was afraid
into, but who he was going to play.
He was afraid he wouldn't be able to keep up with.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah.
So even back then, man, Eugene Levy, he was like another rising star, right? But imagine that being those two in a movie with you, and you're, Tom Hanks at that time was starting to be a name, right? He was starting to rise up, and it was like that movie was amazing. That role as a supporting, freaking amazing, funny.
I love the scene where you just see him at the end. They come in for the mermaid tank, and he's just sitting there fishing. Dude, play the clip.
Hiya, boys. Come on in. The water's fine.
It's silly, but it just makes me laugh every time I just see him there. It's like he's fishing in the mermaid tank.
That whole conversation too across the desk.
Oh,
remember that? It's like this back and forth, and that's
know.
completely ad-libbed, man. It's like this back and forth, and that's one thing that John Candy brings to a lot of the films was the fact that he was able to ad-lib like that, and he would bring in, and that's one of those things where Tom Hanks, again, I'm not sure if it's in this documentary, and I'm pretty sure it's in the documentary where he mentions that John Candy could have stole that scene and owned it. Is it in that movie? Yeah. So in that documentary. But he says, he brought me in, and he says, that's how you do improv, is you're not doing improv alone.
No.
You're pulling people in to do that scene.
He was setting the scene. He wasn't stealing it.
Yeah.
He was setting it and giving Tom Hanks room to play. Now, Tom Hanks would have to deliver, of course, and he did.
But actors are not used to that because you're used to your lines, and somebody's trying to outperform you.
Nope.
But somebody that's from that background is not trying to outperform you.
John would work on the scene, not trying to steal it. Yeah.
To me, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, talking about being in movies with superstars.
Yeah.
The next movie we're going to be talking about is Brewster's Millions.
Oh, with Richard Pryor.
1985 with Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor at that time was the biggest stand-up comedian there was.
Huge.
That's like a mega superstar, man.
Huge. Now, Richard Pryor would often
work
work with Gene Wilder, but then he spun off and he worked with John Candy, and it was hilarious.
So the whole premise is Brewster, right? Which is
Richard Pryor
in this movie, to inherit I think it was like he has to spend 30 million to get 300 million.
Yeah,
Anyways,
turns out
whatever.
he's got a rich uncle who had no relatives left except for him. And
But John Candy's his best friend, so he's going to help him spend that money.
yeah, if he can spend $30 million in 30 days, he inherits $300 million.
Yeah.
But he can't tell anybody about it. And if he doesn't spend the whole $30 million, he gets nothing. The lesson is to make him sick of money.
Yeah.
So Brewster's all right, and John Candy is his best friend. John Candy doesn't understand why Brewster's spending the millions, and he's trying to look out for him. But at the same time, he's trying to have fun too.
Yeah.
And it's a fun balance.
That dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
You at no point back in the mid 80s, man, you would have thought of putting Richard Pryor with somebody like John Candy would have been an impossibility. It's like, why? There's nothing like this type of actor, this type of comedian, and there's nothing that matches at all.
And
so
yet it worked.
Casting, whoever came up with the casting, going, obviously it started with Richard Pryor going, okay, who's going to be Richard Pryor's best friend? Whoever pulled out of that magical hat and went, you know what, John Candy would be awesome in that role. Holy frick, man! That person, whoever you are, you don't even have to
Look up the casting director list.
Holy jeez, that's freaking amazing to even think outside the box like that and having that kind of a performance come out of those two actors. Genius, absolute genius.
Yeah. Now, this next film on our list, to me personally, is probably John's greatest character, greatest performance. This is from 1987, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, starring, of course, John Candy and Steve Martin. It's a Thanksgiving holiday classic.
Yeah.
If you've never seen this film, you gotta see it, all right? Basically, it's about two guys trying to get back home for Thanksgiving. Their travel plans get derailed, and they're kind of stuck together to make the way home. And John Candy plays this overbearing, annoying character, but it's such a fine line because as much as he annoys you, you still care about him.
Like this.
Yeah,
Annoying.
and
he's
you
nice.
see how he grates on Steve Martin's
but he
nerves.
holds it.
But yeah, he walks that fine line, and at the end, I'm not going to spoil it, but you come to care about and love this character so much, despite his annoying tendencies. And when you discover the situation that led him to be the way he is, it's almost heartbreaking, but heartwarming at the same time with the dynamic he develops with Steve Martin's character.
Dude.
And the documentary called I Like Me, it comes from that. There's a speech where Steve Martin just puts him down because he's so annoying and just blasts him.
Honestly, it's worth it. I hope, dude, you can put it up. Let's hope you can see this one scene.
You want to hurt me? Go right ahead if it makes you feel any better. I'm an easy target. Yeah, you're right. I talk too much. I also listen too much. I could be a cold-hearted cynic like you. But I don't like to hurt people's feelings. Well, you think what you want about me. I'm not changing. I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me. Because I'm the real article. What you see is what you get.
So the heart.
Oh,
The heart, and you can feel the raw emotion. And I'm sure John was channeling at the same time probably a lot of those hurt feelings from the late comments and all that. And you just, but despite that, I like me. My wife likes me. My kids like, my friends like me. My clients like me.
That's stuck with people.
And this is who John Candy was, and that's why this documentary is named after him, and that's why I think this was his best performance. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this one.
That's why I'm going.
You can talk about the next one.
No, listen, folks. What he just did. We have those types of conversations even when the camera's not on.
Oh, like you don't take over sometimes.
That passion for real. That's not BS. He actually feels that strong about it.
I do.
I know. And it's freaking funny for me to see when we have conversation off camera and we're talking about something and you're passionate like that and you bring it into the show. To me, it's funny and it's like, not funny, ha-ha. You mean funny how? But I think it's awesome that you're able to share that with everybody because
I'm channeling my inner John Candy.
So for me, that movie, why it's epic, and I 100% agree. To me, it's the best John Candy movie. Watch it, folks.
Yeah.
Take the time to watch it because this is John Candy. If there was another documentary on how to be a great comedic actor, how to be a great emotional actor,
That's the case study.
holy jeez, man. Everything that he goes through, and I love the way that we have that balance where we're following, like, as the audience, where we're in the one character that's dealing with the other character, which is the John Candy character, where every time he gets annoyed, we get annoyed.
Yeah.
Every time he feels bad, we like that roller coaster for that movie. I think that's why, because even the funny moments are hilarious. Because there's one scene towards the end where Steve Martin just starts cracking up, and he can't stop laughing. Then John Candy starts laughing, and it's pure misery. But it's one of those points in life. You know, when in life you're going, this can't get worse.
Yeah.
And you just start laughing, and you don't know why.
It's contagious. You laugh
that
too.
moment, I started laughing so much.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
You just get swept up into it.
The direct follow-up, like what happens right after, I started laughing even more.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I never realized just how funny it is from not till the very end almost, right? But I would say like 90% of that movie, man.
Yeah, because there's a bit of heart at the end there. But
and it's an awesome wrap-up.
Oh, it's beautiful wrap-up.
Geez,
Yeah,
man.
great film.
It's like you're taking that scene in the hotel between both of them, and you're transposing that same heartfelt at the very end and going, holy jeez, man, I'm doing this, but it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm up and down, I'm all over the place, and the emotions out of it, so kudos.
It's a holiday favorite, and
Well, Ryan Reynolds, man, he's such a fan of it that there's elements, like little Easter eggs of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in the Deadpool movies.
This is true.
It's like one of the last one when he's digging the grave to get Wolverine.
Yeah.
There's an actual mug that says "I like me" with a big heart on it.
There you go.
And even when they're walking through, there's one of the parts where they're walking before they get to the restaurant or whatever. The car from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is in the background.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
there you go.
There's
Ryan Reynolds is a huge fan.
I can't remember in what.
In fact, he's one of the producers of the documentary.
Yeah. So I think it's in the first one. The John Candy, when he's in the airplane and he's reading Canadian Mounted, and it's a girl on all fours. It's supposed to be like a sex book, but it's Canadian Mounted, like a play on Mounted Police. Deadpool is reading that same book in the movie, so he's just sitting on the couch and he's reading that same book.
There you go.
So all of these, so that tells you just how much of a fan he is of that movie, but specifically of John Candy.
All right.
Yeah.
What's next on our list?
So next is one movie that we've spoken about very recently. So go check out this episode. We're talking about Spaceballs.
And we can't wait for the sequel.
So 1987. Mel Brooks had the brilliant idea of casting John Candy as a Chewbacca-esque character in Spaceballs, where he's playing
Bartholomew.
I'm a mod.
What are you?
I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
So John is the sidekick to
Lone Star,
who's the Han Solo, Luke Skywalker blend, but more Solo than Skywalker. And it's a parody movie. So, of course, it's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be over the top. It's Mel Brooks. But nonetheless, John Candy still brings a certain charm.
So much heart.
Yeah, so much heart. And you can't help but love Barf. And you wish Barf was your sidekick.
He was your best friend.
Yeah, you really do. You love this guy. And he's just... He knows how to play the fine line between absurd and still relatable.
Yeah.
And that's why Barf is such a good character, because no matter how ridiculous the situation is, he's playing it like a cuddly teddy bear, and that's what Barf is.
Yeah.
And you just freaking love it.
And I can't, sometimes some iconic roles, I can't imagine anybody else playing that role. This is one of them. Honestly, it sounds really ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous movie, which makes it awesome. But he took that ridiculousness and made it so much fun. And like you said, I think there's when he shows, because he couldn't have merchandise, right?
Yeah.
And then they have the store for
Baseballs,
yogurt.
the flamethrower.
So you have like the little plush toys of Barf. I'm like, oh man, I want one of those so bad.
In Spaceballs 2, John Candy's son in real life, I forget what's his son's name. Is it Chris?
Right now.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Camera's going to go off, and we're all going to remember at the same time.
John Candy's son is going to have a cameo in Spaceballs 2 playing Barf's
I did not
son.
know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're paying homage to Barf because
cool.
Sadly John passed in '94, so we're not going to see him again. But his son's going to play Barf's son in the film, and I just think that's a beautiful, touching homage.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
All right. Next one is The Great Outdoors, 1988. This is where John Candy has teamed up once again with Dan Aykroyd. Hadn't done that since Blues Brothers, or did he?
Yeah, Blues Brothers. No, there's nothing between them with them.
Where basically it's about two families going camping, and again, John has
his
a knack.
brother-in-law, right?
Yeah, John has a knack for being cast as that annoying character that gets under your skin. He's still funny, he's still lovable, but he gets under the skin of someone, and he gets under the skin of Dan Aykroyd this time. To be honest, I find I don't think it's his best work, and I don't blame him. I think the script was a little more formulaic.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those, it's the late 80s, let's take a typical formula comedy, splice them together, and they do the best they can with what they have. And for what they had, I think John did a great...
I think, so it's one of those things where Dan Aykroyd plays a very, very annoying brother-in-law to the point where he's unbelievably irritating, takes up a lot of room, but John Candy's trying to deal with this as best as he possibly can. So it's one of those things where they played it probably as they were directed, as per the script, but it should have been more of a buddy movie than a conflict movie.
Yes.
So it's a very conflicting character,
which
kind
is the
of thing.
Formula that they had at the time.
Yeah, so conflict makes funny. This movie, not so much. Not taken away from both performances. You watch it and you know for a fact that's how they were directed. That was the script.
They had fun with it, and it's not a bad film.
Not by any stretch, but I think they would have... This movie could have been one of those epic movies if they would have made it a buddy movie.
I agree.
The brother-in-law that she hasn't seen in a long time, that he loves hanging out with, and they get into all these shenanigans, but it was almost like the one character is always, specifically the Dan Aykroyd character is always degrading the John Candy character, and going, that sucks, man, because you guys could have played this in a completely different way, and it could have been one of those
directed, written in a different way. Yeah,
but it's still, again, performance.
It's still worth a watch. Still worth a watch. The next one on the list. Oh, well, that's yours, dude.
Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck.
Oh, 1989. Uncle Buck was... So, if you're looking at Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and all these other big... Uncle Buck is the first movie where he's the star.
He had other films where he was the lead, but they weren't great
but not
films.
like this, man.
But Uncle Buck
was
his thing.
This is his thing.
Now,
Uncle Buck. They could have called it a freaking Uncle Candy or Uncle John or whatever.
Now, I will say a few scenes were stolen by a very young Macaulay Culkin, who was introduced to the world there, and they had a great rapport, and that's why those scenes work. The little quick rapid fire thing.
Do you think?
Where do you live?
In the city.
Do you have a house?
Apartment.
On a rent?
Rent.
What do you do for a living?
Lots of things.
Where's your office?
I don't have one.
How come?
I don't need one.
Where's your wife?
Don't have one.
How come?
It's a long story.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
How come?
It's an even longer story.
Are you my dad's brother?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
38.
I'm your dad's brother, all right.
You have much more hair on your nose than my dad.
How nice of you to notice.
I'm a kid. That's my job.
So you can see the dynamic, and apparently Macaulay Culkin, and they had a real rapport in real life because John Candy, he was great with kids.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't, I'm a star and we have to do the scene. He was like, all right, kid, let's have fun with this. Apparently John was very impressed with how quick
the back
Macaulay
and,
was.
back and forth, and it was like, doof, 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 doof.
But to me, what stands out for Uncle Buck beyond that was there's this one scene which I'm sure John insisted be in there when he's called to the principal's office because of his niece. She's a little 6-year-old girl, and the principal or the vice principal, I forget who it is. She's so uptight, and she says that the girl is very flighty and you know, living in the mole thing, but. She's got this horrible mole thing.
I keep thinking of Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Mole.
I'm sure Austin Powers was inspired by that
probably.
too. But she's berating the little girl for being flighty and airheaded and living in a fantasy world and having too much imagination because she's 6 and she's being silly. And John is like, she's 6. She's supposed to be. I don't want to know a 6-year-old kid who's not silly.
Yeah.
And he just so stands up for kids right there. I just saw the movie recently with my daughter, and it just kind of struck because she's a kid too. And I'm like, yeah, so many people are in a hurry for you to grow up. And Uncle Buck,
even more so today. That movie
was about
today
don't enjoy.
Would be so important for parents to be able to watch that with their kids today. Because kids do grow up way faster now.
They say the word shit a lot in that movie.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
When a kid uses the word shit in the right way, man, it's the funniest thing in the world.
It is.
It is hilarious. And I remember when this movie came out, and just the fact that he wanted to stay, he had a girlfriend in the movie, but he didn't want to get attached, right? He wanted to keep living the bachelor life, smoking, drinking,
all the buddies
stuff, right? Just hanging out, and everything that he does, and the fact that he's thrown into this family dynamic, the home, the kids, the school, and all that stuff. It's still that when he fixes the first breakfast for the kids before they go off to school.
He has to use a snow shovel to flip the pancake. It's so big.
I'm like, that's genius, man. That's comedy gold.
Now, the other thing about Uncle Buck is there's this one scene, and you can tell this is a character who's
why are you so freaking far, man?
I don't know. This is a character who's got internal conflict, but he makes the right choice. He's got this lead on a sure bet, and he's got to go to the track. But he can't leave the kids alone, and he wants to. But you can see he's in the car, he's with the kids, and he's looking at the kids and the conflict, and you see the character growth there, but he doesn't have to say a word. His face, his body language just says everything about how I could go to the track with the kids, and by the way, the older daughter is missing out at a party, or I can do the responsible thing, not take the credit to the kids, go find the missing daughter or niece in his case.
And even that scene's amazing.
And and with the drill.
That's an awesome movie, man.
Nat. Anyways, it's but you can see how great of an actor he is because his body language, his face, you can see the conflict right there and the inner turmoil. And this is a man who has to change his entire lifestyle for the sake of these kids that he hardly sees, but he's related to, and he does the right thing, and it's very.
So do you think this is another one of his that he enjoyed?
Nah,
it's like it's all right.
All right.
I'm not a huge fan. It's like
shush. All right, next one. On the Tale of Uncle Buck, which was a John Hughes film.
Yeah, a lot of John Hughes films.
Yeah, well, John Candy and John Hughes became tight buddies, and they did like 9 movies together or something.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
The next one is a holiday classic, Home Alone from 1990.
Yeah.
Now, John plays a tiny cameo scene in here. He's the polka king of the Midwest. I forget the character's
Wait,
name.
You've never heard of me?
So if you don't remember the scene, Catherine O'Hara's trying to make her way home to Chicago, and at one point no flights are going in because of the snowstorm, and he's got this van with his other polka buddies, and they're going to be driving. John was on set for 23 hours.
Yeah.
And he was paid $729 or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
And all the scenes he did, the conversation in the van with Catherine O'Hara, is all improvised.
Yeah.
Now, she's a former SCTV co-star with him.
She worked with him for years.
So he knows she can riff off. And when you watch it, the ridiculous stories he's telling, and she's just going along, still staying in character, but not being like, what? Just... the dynamic is so great because you can tell these are two seasoned professionals who have a long-term relationship and they know what they can pull off. And John he's just there for a couple scenes, but he steals them with his big heart and his ridiculous stories about playing polka.
And the funny thing is that scene could have not existed at all. Like they could have fought. She could have been on a bus or whatever.
And just make it to Chicago.
Exactly. But injecting that, again, it's another part. Freak, man, this is what the amazing thing about the decision-making of filmmakers or whoever was like doing, we need John Candy.
John Hughes said, my buddy John.
Yeah, so we need him, and you inject him, and in the movie, at that point, he comes in, he adds so much to it, and they're memorable. Like every one of his scenes, man, they're memorable. They're epic.
Polka.
But that's John Candy, man.
Yep.
It was like unreal. So our next one from 1993.
This is a great film.
When I saw this in theaters, there's only one reason I went.
John
Candy. So John Candy at this point, for a few years now, was a bona fide star. Like for the last 10 years, right, mid 80s to mid 90s, bona fide Hollywood star. A-lister.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to work with him. Anybody would work with him. And when this movie came out, the premise of it was so ridiculous.
Which is actually based on a true story. It's embellished, of course, but...
So the title is Cool Runnings. All right? So if you're not at all familiar with it, it's John Candy is now living in Jamaica. There's this one particular kid in Jamaica that wants to join the Olympic team for Jamaica. The whole premise is John Candy used to be an Olympic gold medalist bobsledder. So they decide to
He has a theory that sprinters would make great bobsledders because it's all about the initial push.
Yeah.
So he thinks Jamaicans would actually make great bobsledders. So he creates a bobsledding team, which is actually in 1988 Calgary. The Jamaican bobsled team showed up, and everybody's like, "What? Jamaica in a Winter Olympics?" So he plays the trainer slash coach slash whatever manager of the Jamaican bobsled team at the '88 Calgary Olympics.
But for me, it's like, when it starts off and you find out that he's the next Olympian, you're going, most people would have went, John Candy, he's a big dude, smokes, he drinks. And I'm like, he pulled it off.
Yeah.
It's like one of those guys, like, I'm done with this. I'm just going to enjoy life. And that's what you get out of it. It's like, okay, once when I was in my youth. But
back in my prime.
Everybody has those stories, right? I keep thinking about, like, Al Bundy and Polk High when he was the football player. It's like, everybody has those moments where they were awesome when they were teenagers and in their early 20s. But life moves on. And the fact that he was actually able to play that role, that character, and 100% believe this guy at one point, because you see how he's passionate still about the sport. He's passionate about teaching what he knew.
And he inspires...
But dude, the music is awesome. Awesome. One of those soundtracks. We had an episode of, we're talking about awesome soundtracks. Go check this out, right? But the soundtrack is amazing. The actors, hilarious.
What you smoking, man? Don't want to spoil it.
No, but there's so many scenes.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite scene of all is when they arrive in Calgary and they think they're ready for the cold winter and they're walking out of the airport.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Say goodbye. What you smoking?
I'm not smoking. I'm breathing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to elaborate is like the fact that that whole is like, no, this is not happening. But that movie, when I saw it, I said, this is John Candy again. At his best, man.
And
Just
he's lovable,
heart-
he's inspirational, the heart's there, he's the heart of the team.
Oh my Lord, man.
Even though he's not on the team, he's the heart of the team.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was in theaters, people were cheering. It was an epic moment.
And it was actually filmed in Calgary
Yes,
for
at the actual tracks.
I've been down that track.
Yeah. What?
Well, yeah, you can when you visit. They have.
Is it still up?
I don't know. I was there in
Back
the
in
early
day?
'90s.
Okay.
There's a it's a modified bobsled. It's sectional. It's much bigger.
Okay.
It won't go as fast, but it still goes pretty fast, and it's padded. So when you go down, it snakes down rather than this one thing you got to steer and lie back and everything. But went in, whoosh, and you do the track, and you wind down at the bottom, and it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Cool Runnings.
Great film.
Fantastic.
Our neighbor to the north, the sovereign nation of Canada, has embarked on a military program aimed at the United States. Canada, known for ages as a polite and clean country, has, under a socialist majority, undertaken a massive military buildup on its border with the United States.
I don't like Canada. It's freezing cold.
Canada owns more of the U.S. than any other country.
The Canadians, they walk among us. William Shatner, Michael J. Fox, Monty Hall, Mike Myers, Alex Trebek. All of them Canadians, all of them here.
This is Canadian Bacon.
Oh,
1995.
Yeah. This is our final.
It is our final one. Fun fact, John Candy passed in 1994 while he was filming Wagons East.
Yes.
Wagons East is the last film he filmed.
With Matthew Perry.
No.
Was it not with Matthew Perry?
No, it was with the...
Oh, that's true.
I forget the guy's name. Dude put up his name there. It wasn't Matthew Perry.
But Matthew Perry did something like that. It was with...
Matthew Perry did something with...
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley, yeah.
Yes.
But Canadian Bacon was filmed before, but it was released after.
Yeah.
Now, Canadian Bacon is I think we've talked about this before.
We had a whole episode. Go check out this episode where we're talking about Canadian Bacon.
But just to recap, the U.S. president is not popular anymore because you need an enemy to be popular.
Of course.
So he decides, we talked about this when we talked about the U.S. invading Canada.
So
he decides to declare Canada the enemy.
What?
And John Candy and Rhea Perlman, they live in Niagara Falls, the U.S. side. And they're like, oh my God, we're right on the border. We're the first line of defense. And so John Candy, funny enough, plays an American gun nut who's gung-ho about defending his country from Canada.
Police, man.
Yeah, from Canada, even though John is a huge, proud Canadian in real life. And it's an absurd comedy. And again, he gives himself into the absurdity and just goes with the flow. And they play up so many stupid Canadian stereotypes at the same time.
Canadian
and American stereotypes.
So, and that's one fun thing about this movie is that the stereotypes literally go across the border. It's like what they're playing, they're poking fun at both sides a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a full star cast too, man. This movie, holy jeez.
But
that's an awesome way to finish, man. Top 12.
I'd like to have a couple honorable mentions.
Oh,
too.
you have honorable mentions as well.
I have one. You have one.
Oh,
what's yours?
Do yours. You just put me on the spot.
All right. This one is because we've always known John Candy to be a comedic actor.
Yes.
I chose this one just because John was not afraid to step out of his comfort zone and do different things sometimes.
He was a fantastic actor,
He was rarely cast in anything but comedies because people expect comedy of him. But this is an Academy Award-winning film. This was a big film of the day, and I forget the year. I apologize. JFK. Kevin Costner film about the Kennedy assassination.
Well, I know what it's about, but
John Candy has a small part in this film. It's a dramatic film. He plays a dramatic part.
No, it's not.
I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time. I believe he's one of the other attorneys but it's or part of the FBI investigation or something.
Wow.
But basically, he plays serious. It's been decades since I've seen this film, but I do remember seeing John Candy
in a serious
role, and I was like, you know what? He can do this too. And this is why I think it's worth mentioning. We love him for his comedy. He always made us laugh. He always seeing John Candy was like a film was like a big hug.
Yeah, exactly.
This was different, but this is just to say John could break out of the typecast with JFK. He did. And I think it's just worth mentioning.
Okay. You want to do that? I'm going to go completely out of typecast. I'm going to go into something we've talked about as well recently. He actually did voiceover for a big budget movie, The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh my God!
Like 1990.
He was the bird, wasn't
yes, he? Wilbur.
Wilbur, because Orville was in the first one, so Wilbur was in Down Under.
And remember how Dom DeLuise used to do voiceovers for cartoons?
All the time.
This is Dom DeLuise, right? A classic comedic
Johnny
actor.
Fat Guy.
But when I found out that he was, right away you hear it and you go,
oh yeah,
you know it's him, but holy jeez, man. Just because if you're doing voiceovers for cartoons, that's not easy as an actor. You still have to get into that role, even if you're not playing on camera.
Oh, you still have to go through the process of bringing the character to life.
We're not going to pop anything up, but folks, if you just go Google, not Google, but you're on YouTube right now, so check out on YouTube, put down The Rescuers Down Under Wilbur, and you'll hear his voice, man, and you're going, that's freaking perfect. That's my honorable mention. Is he actually did voiceover for a cartoon that I actually
a big Disney film that went to theaters.
I love that movie.
What year was that? That was the late
1990s.
90? Early 90s.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, we want to know, what is your favorite John Candy film or your favorite John Candy moment?
Yeah, there's something that you remember from, like SCTV, of course. Those of you that don't know what SCTV is,
it stands for Second City Television.
It was huge back in the day, and most of the cast. Do we have time? Put a photo up of the cast. The great majority of them went on to great careers. Some of them became superstars.
Yep.
That's where it stems from, and where they honed that craft.
Oh yeah.
You can tell that they all went to the same school, because that's what we got for entertainment, is all these amazing actors.
I would like to tell a little story about how he influenced other SCTV people. A movie that Dude and I have spoken about many times, it's been a very influential to us and to all Canadians, I believe, is Bob and Doug McKenzie's
I was going to call
Strange
it, but
Brew. All right?
Yeah.
Now, Strange Brew stars Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis, who created Bob and Doug on SCTV. John Candy was a cast member at the time, although never part of the SCTV sketches. John was the first of the SCTV cast to break into film. And Dave Thomas, who plays Bob, specifically said at one point, the reason they made Strange Brew, or the reason they had the courage...
Dave Thomas.
My apologies.
Yeah,
Dave Thomas plays Doug. My apologies, Doug.
Apparently we haven't spoken about it enough.
You get tired. My beer.
It's a therapy Thursday.
It's a therapy Thursday.
Wait. Are you enjoying the show right now?
Subscribe.
Yeah, do that.
Like and share.
If you're still here, you're an actual fan. If you're an actual fan, you should be doing that before you can hear the end of the story. That's important. I'm going to keep talking until you realize that you're not going to hear the end of this until you do
But
that.
I want to tell the end.
I know you do want to tell the end.
So shut up.
So do that, and you can leave a comment.
Dave Thomas said the reason they found the courage to do Strange Brew and to break out into their own film is because they saw John go ahead and do it ahead of them. They saw John break out in other films, and they said, if John can do it, maybe we can do it too. They took inspiration from John and followed through.
They got the courage to go ahead.
Look, Dave and Rick went out films. Rick Moranis especially, again with Spaceballs and Ghostbusters and all these things. Catherine O'Hara
Honey, I
Huge
Shrunk
lot
the
of movies.
Kids,
Boom,
Rick
boom, boom.
Moranis, man.
Eugene Levy was more TV than film guy. Oh, he did some film stuff too.
Dude.
He was in Splash. We talked about The Man and all these other movies. But Schitt's Creek is huge. And,
dude, all the American Pie movies, man.
oh, I forgot the American Pie. He's the dad.
He's the only one that's he's the dad in every single American Pie.
You know, so a lot of them became stars in film. John was the first to do it.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him.
On
Good
that
for
note,
us.
I'm out of beer.
I'm almost. So, thanks for watching, folks. If you get a chance, just go through the list that we gave you right now. Go check out any of his movies. But if you're going to start with one, start with Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. All right?
On that
John,
note, we'll see you next Thursday.
I love
And John,
you, brother. We'll see you next time.
there was a
You
drop
want to
left.
drink of mine?
There was a drop left.